Hey guys, it's Perry. Today we're doing a full VOD review of a Diana versus Rammus game in Platinum Elo. We're gonna walk through, a VOD review this time, not a actual live coaching. So we're gonna get a lot more high level information. It'll be a lot more talking and explaining versus action happening in the game. So first off, Diana, Rammus, Ornn, Zehen, Hui, Akshan, Killin, Zillion, Cog, Xerath. So the first thing I'm doing every single game I play, and I'm gonna walk you through this, is the preloading process. So in the game that I'm entering, I'm always deciding what will the game look like at 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. So we break them down into these different segments of the game because every champion has a different strength factor at different points. For example, first 10 minutes of the game, all the way up to like 20, Hui is like a piece of shit. Compare that to a champion like Akshan. Wow, the Akshan is so powerful. Okay, same thing with Ornn. Ornn is not necessarily a piece of shit, but he's not that strong when Ornn gets level 6 and Ornn gets his items. I'm really, really, really like terrified of a champion like Ornn. And then bot lane, Caitlyn, really, really strong. Zillion, not that strong. So what I'm looking to do here is I'm trying to decide, well, am I playing aggressively or defensively for the early game? Okay, because that helps me to decide what my game plan is. What I really want to know is what my game plan is. So the pre-learning process, our goal, help us decide our early game plan. Okay, so am I playing aggressively or defensively? And given all of these factors, Akshan beats me. Zehen is a bruiser into Ornn. Ornn wants to scale, doesn't want to fight. Caitlyn is strong, but Cog, Xerath have a lot of poke and a lot of strength, and Zillion is not that strong. Given that I only have one playable character in this game that wants to do something, I am definitely on the defensive side. Step 1 makes sense, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So this is very important in leading into the game because normally what that means is if we are defensive, that means we are going to be strong at the 20 to 40 minute mark. So all of our plays that we make should be, all the plays in the early game should not feel forced. Now, on the flip side of things, if we are aggressive, I'll do it like this. We should be stacking all the objectives. We need to progress. We want to have a substantial, we want to have a big gold lead. We need to have at least one winning lane. The one who is aggressive. Does that make sense? The difference between the two?
Yes.
And what that means is if the enemy has the aggressive side of things, it's normally either you're defensive or aggressive. If the aggressive side fails, you are by default winning. So the defensive side always wins by default if the aggressive side fails. In a shooter game, the comparison is like, you need to plant the bomb, and if you do not plant the bomb, you just lose. I believe that's how it goes, yeah? Like, you literally just lose the round. So it's the exact same thing. If the aggressive side does not progress, get all the dragons, all the heralds, all the grubs, everything, then the aggressive side will slowly bleed out and lose. This is why composition matters so much. It actually is very important, but none of this actually really changes the way, none of this actually really decides whether or not you win or lose a game. It impacts it, but it's not the deciding things, right? Because your Caitlyn, Hui, Zillion, Ornn can get really fed, but it doesn't actually matter because even though Akshan is an aggressive early game champion, he will still be very impactful 30, 40 minutes down the road. Another example being, hey, a champion like Volibear or Lee Sin, they aren't as hard scaling later on into the game, but they'll still be impactful. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the aggressive side just loses. But what it tells me is that, hey, I know how I'm going to be playing in the early game, mid game, and I know how I should feel once we have 1, 2, or 3 items. Cool. So I'm actually going to bring this back up here. So what I want to see in this game from you is for you to not feel forced to make plays. And then if I see you feeling forced to make plays, that means you did not know what your team composition excels at. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. We can walk back a step. If our team comp wants to play defensively and we want to relax, and we don't really have a lane to play through, what's the best path for you?
If you want to play defensively, I mean, I just need a path bot lane, right?
Sure. So you can path bot and do a regular full clear down, but what's the best path for a full clear jungler that plays for themselves at any given champion?
The pure selfish, probably Raptor start.
Correct. This game is a great game to do Raptor start. You can also do Wolf start. Either one works. Does the logic make sense behind why I'm willing to do this game?
Yeah, because you aren't necessarily looking to interact with people before
Exactly.
like the early game anyway.
It's one catch here. This champ mogs this champ. I need to be very concerned about getting invaded. And if this champ has priority on my bot lane, I'm very, very, very concerned. So what I'm going to think about is, let's say I still want to do a 8 camp clear, what we call an 8 camp clear. Can I start a different camp to make that possible? And you can. You can start your wolves. You can do wolves gromp blue into the full clear, and they're not going to invade your wolves. Okay. Okay, so you need to space a little better here. Walk to this. Cue it. Okay. And then walk back into your blue buff and finish the blue buff. A little sloppy here. Nice. You're saving your W. Good. That's what I was checking. Cool. Your clear should be fine then. On top of that, actually, so given all the information we just talked about at the start of the game, does this potion make sense?
No, because I don't want to fight anyone.
Exactly. You want to save all that gold. And then to add to the feel, again, with the logic of what we're trying to play for, we should be doing the Raptors into Krugs into red buff. So you can sort of see how all this is just a waste of your time, right?
Yeah.
All this is just a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
What do we want to return to?
We want to back buy and go back to the top side.
Back to our camps. Reset the game. You spent way too much time on the map here. So let's talk concept. Let's talk conceptually. Okay. Do you understand why I emphasize full clearing so much? Let me ask you the question. Why do I want you to return to your camp timer at 420? Why is that so important to me?
Well, one, because the faster you clear your camps, the faster they're up again, which means you're gaining gold and experience relative to the other jungler. It kind of also, in this position specifically, it kind of saves you from, if you're doing that, then you're not sort of like hanging out with the bad kids, so to speak. Like you're not getting yourself in trouble. Yeah, like we're trying to play to scale a little bit.
Cool. Yeah. So this is the point I'm really looking for, and you nailed it right away. The other factors are relevant, but I'm not going to worry about those. I'm worried about this. Okay. So in a League of Legends game, especially in a League of Legends game where we are understanding right away that we're playing to scale and we're playing for a 30-minute game, the stronger you can be at this mark, the better the game will be. always. So you clear your camps faster will enable this. Okay. To add to what you were saying, which is you're not gonna be playing around the stupid teammates, you're not gonna be like wasting time with the silly people. To add to what you're saying, you do not want to spend any time with anyone in the early game anyway, because they're simply too weak. You need them to be level 6. You need them to be level 5. You need them to have a recall at least a recall first before you even want to play with them. So for the first 5 minutes of the game, we don't want to go here. We don't want to go here. We don't want to go here. We just want to farm. That's why being at this camp timer, it fixes almost all your problems at all times. Because most of the time, before 5 minutes into the game, you're not going to have a really good opportunity, especially when you're playing a champion like Diana. Now, that changes if you're playing a champion like Rammus. It changes if you're playing a champion like Lee Sin, dashes, Bel'Veth, dashes, ganking junglers, Rek'Sai, over the walls, dashes, knockups, CC. It changes based on your champion. But Diana's one of those champions where, like, you need to farm. Cool. Waste of time, waste of time, waste of time. And now what's happening is your Gromp Wolves are up, and you're not on them on spawn, and that makes it so, hey, your bot lane who's fighting and dying right now, you can't impact them at all, you can't threaten the dragon, you can't threaten anything on the map. We're really slow on the map everywhere. Okay, finish this. Okay, this ends up being okay because Akshan decided to go top lane. So if we look at the big picture here right now, their Xerath is dead. Xerath is not here. And Akshan went top lane. Rammus gets pushed out. Cool, we recall. We have an early dragon. Given we have an early dragon, we are extremely, extremely happy. We have early grubs as well. So, based on how this game is going, you should be feeling really good.
Yeah.
Zillion did a bomb combo. Okay. Let me ask you here. What's wrong with what I just saw? Let's try to think.
What is wrong with what you just I mean, getting hit by the Xerath E is kind of bad because it's pretty slow. I also ulted, and the second proc, like the proc of the ult, didn't hit. It just hit air because he was already dead.
Okay, so let's look. The Xerath E, negligible. It's fine. You're still gonna get the kill. That second part, you nailed it. Your ulti, your second part of your ulti didn't even hit the guy. My question to you is: do you need to use your ulti here to kill the Kog'Maw?
Retrospectively, no, but I didn't know that Caitlyn had fifth shot ready. I guess it doesn't even matter, honestly, because it would take like another 2 seconds to kill him, but he would still die. So I should have just saved the ult.
There you go. Right now you're thinking. Your Caitlyn's autoing. You're full comboing this guy. You have your E. You have your next Q. You have a smite. You have so many tools to kill this guy. He's never living. Save your ultimate here. Well, because right now, imagine you had ulti. Face checks.
Yeah, they just die again. Yeah. I was thinking that like as I was sitting in this bush and watching him walk by, I'm like, man, I wish I had my ultimate.
Right. Now you can actually wait here for so here, what's wrong with this? Actually, no, this is fine.
I was scared of Akshan.
Scared of Akshan.
He wasn't showing.
No, that makes sense. No, the way you play this is actually fine. I'd flash E. Whoa. All right, we found the next thing for you to work on. It's called LOL dodge game. You have to do 10,000 reps of this.
Okay.
Play. Puzzle. Interesting. You go to kiting. And you go here. You go infinite kiting. You give yourself about 1 attack speed. Play. And you do not A-click. You right-click this thing. And you walk back. And you right-click this thing. And you right-click this thing. Okay? while you're moving. You need one move and then one hit. One move, one hit. One move, one hit. Every day, 5 minutes minimum. Okay? And your cursor will never do this again. Where you flash and you lose him. You're losing him, you're losing him, you're losing him.
Yeah, my thumb was on my space bar and it fucked me.
That's the difference between you killing this guy and living and walking away and you dying here. Flashy, 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 flashy. You said your thumb was on your spacebar?
Yeah, my screen was locked, so like if my screen wasn't locked, I just flash and my camera stays where it is and it goes instantly. Instead I was just lock screen error.
I mean, this is a oh, I guess you mean. Okay. But even if you're lock screen, if you just flash E him, you'll make it. As long as your cursor's on him, you'll kill this guy here. When you flash here, as long as your cursor's on him, you'll kill him.
Right. But like, if my screen isn't locked, then my camera doesn't move, and it's easier to like have my cursor on him, because if my cursor's on him and I flash, like if my cursor has to find him after the flash, because my camera moves, right? That's like the whole advantage of playing without lock screen.
So you're saying to me, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's accurate actually. I'm pretty sure your cursor just stays exactly where. I'm pretty sure your cursor stays exactly where they are, no matter how many times you flash.
Your cursor doesn't move
when you flash.
Yeah, it doesn't move on your screen. So like
correct.
So like in order for me to, I would have to pre-position my cursor like at the bush to flash and have my cursor be on him behind the bush after I flash. Yeah, but you're not playing lock screen, which is my point, right?
So even if I'm playing lock screen, if my cursor is on him.
See?
Oh. Wow, do not play lock screen, guys.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, that's why I'm saying like that's the whole error. If my screen wasn't locked, my cursor would not have moved off of him and he would just be dead.
Wait, that's awful.
Yeah, yeah, lock screen is very AIDS.
Wait, lock screen is awful. Wait, lock screen takes your cursor with you when you fucking flash.
Yeah, because the whole purpose of lock screen is to lock your screen, which means your cursor stays at the same point relative to your screen at all times, not relative to like the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so that's so bad because repositioning your cursor every time is.
I mean, you see the consequences in the clip, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so sometimes I would actually fight lock screen. But that just means you need to have even more control over your cursor though, which is fine. Sometimes I do actually hold spacebar while I'm fighting, and like it is what it is. That just means you need extra control over your cursor as you are dashing. So for example, I'm like flashing here, and I'm just instantly positioning. Like it's actually not the worst case scenario. It definitely isn't ideal. But what I will say is the solution is not to always play on lock screen, because sometimes in fights it's just hard to not be, it's hard to be perma unlocked. Like for me, I don't perma play unlocked. If you watch how I play, sometimes I'm actually just holding spacebar, and what is really important is that you have just more cursor accuracy. I think cursor accuracy is still important whether or not you're lock screen or unlock screen. You'll get used to it either way. But the problem is your fucking cursor the entire time just isn't even on him. When you flash, you don't reposition. And then look, you flashed, your cursor went from here to here. That's the problem. That's the root problem. Do you see that?
Yeah, so if you pause right here,
yes.
My cursor, at this point I know I have to flash because I'm out of range of E. So my cursor being right there is trying to predict where my cursor will be after the flash, and I overshoot it.
Right, but I'm not worried about the overshooting or not. I'm worried about just reposition your freaking cursor after you flash, in 0.1 second.
I gotcha.
That's all I care about. It's just you need to like look, you flash, and then your cursor's gonna be here, reposition it. You reposition it this way. That's what I'm worried about. And that's why LoL dodge game is so helpful for would be helpful for you because all you're doing is permanently repositioning your cursor. Permanently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's really hard to actually do this. Because you have to while this guy's moving and I'm moving too, I'm perma repositioning my cursor over and over and over again, and I'm trying to be accurate with my hits while moving. And it's like every time I move close to him, that's how I know my cursor is inaccurate. So you absolutely should do this for yourself because this flick right here is your aim being off and your reaction speed being off. I understand the lock screen problem. It isn't the big problem here. It's that right now you see that the entire sequence right there,
Yeah.
you couldn't find him. You're like tweaking out. You could not find him. Right here, you should find him. You should find him. You should find him. You can't find him. You can't find him. And then there you go. You found him. It's too late.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then if you want to talk about mechanics here, when you're on top of this guy, you should just. Oh, you're stuck. This is actually so long. Never mind. Ah, so you 1-for-1. It's fine. You have your item. Good. Check him first. Okay, so you have this habit of Wing thin air, or Wing camps even. This W should be a Q. I know you want the attack speed. That's good. That's correct. Use your Q.
Use the shorter CD spell, yeah.
Correct. Back to camps. Good. Full clear, full clear, full clear. Hunt the camps down. Look for a little gank play. We'll combo him. We'll take the kill. Good. Happy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who's recommending you buy this?
I've been doing kind of what Griffin does.
He wants you to buy a dead
where
man's
I buy
plate second
my
item?
tank. Well, I mean, not specifically Dead Man's Play. I wasn't sure which armor. I wanted to have some armor item for the 3 AD champs, but I wasn't 100% sure which one it was supposed to be.
Okay.
Because the cog isn't going to build crit. The Zahen isn't going to build crit.
Yeah, just go Zanya's.
Okay.
That gives you armor. So let's compare stats real quick. Dead Man's Play at LoL Wiki. Zanya's LoL Wiki. Right, the best way to actually learn values: 55 armor, 50 armor. Zanya's is broken. Broken ass item because it gives you 100 AP and the same armor as Dead Man's. You're lacking HP, which is true, but if you're trying to stack armor and then you could pretty much build Zanya's into something like Riftmaker. And then if you want to build this cloth armor or this chain vest into anything else, I mean, none of these items are really good secondary items.
Right.
Second items on any of these, it's not very good. Here's the thing I don't like about itemizing like this on Diana. You want to play for resources, and if you're buying defensive stats, it actually helps your pet deal more damage, but your entire kit is AP. So you want more AP so you can clear quicker and you can learn how to generate more resources around the map. If you are for sure going to perma fight, which I don't think you are this game, especially since we're scaling, we just want to farm. But if you are for sure going to perma fight, then buying this makes more sense. But what I would do here is I would just go for Zanya's if you really want that armor, or I would buy that Riftmaker into still Zanya's. Going tanky items in itself isn't actually the end of the world. Again, they're pretty heavy AD on the team, on the enemy team. And then again, there actually aren't, because Rammus is what, AP or AD?
Is it more AP than AD?
Xerath and Kog'Maw or what?
Kog'Maw is mix. He's building AD. Xerath is AP. Zahen is AD.
Yeah. So, the best way you could do this for yourself is to go Kog'Maw LoLlytics. This is the site. that will show you the breakdown. 51% of his damage is magic. 38% is physical. So Kog'Maw is way more magic than physical. And then Rammus LoLWiki and Rammus LoLlytics, I should say. And then Rammus is 62% magic. So you actually buying this much armor in a game like this doesn't make much sense.
Okay.
And then in general, I would just recommend buy yourself that AP on your first 2 items. Past your 3rd item, you can think about more armor MR. The higher elo you go, the more defensive and that like the more defensive you can buy. Like the more you can buy more defensive items because fighting is going to be more difficult and lower elos. Past 3rd, 4th item, it's worth buying defensive, but but before that, don't overdo it. You're gonna lack so much damage.
Okay.
Good Q, EW, good. Saving spells, good. QE, good. So you got slowed. Okay, so slow here. So your pathing is off. Right now, this is just like mechanical thing. And it's just understanding like your cursor and your character control. You need to sit in this bush and you need to wait so you can keep autoing this guy. Going this far forward actually hurts you because if he walks back in the bush, you can't see him. So he walks back in the bush, you can't see him. And then here, now he's walking away, and it's like, okay, you put yourself too far behind. Doing this is not the end of the world. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Okay. Okay, let's see how do we close this game out. Kill this guy again, sure. Okay. We have 3k gold, so we better recall soon. Okay. So, you aren't getting punished for shit. But there is a serious problem with what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I just have so much gold.
Yeah. And you got away with it. This is gonna punish you in much closer games. Your autocon's also coming up, so we don't necessarily even want to be in the top side. We definitely want to recall and get our items. And we do win the fight. Yeah, nice ulti at least. Yeah, nicely played spells. But yeah, we want to be in the bot side here. Okay. Nice, autocon is taken. This next dragon is coming up. You're farming very nicely. You're recalling for your item. This is great. Yeah, at least you bought the cloth and then went Riftmaker second. I'm happy with that at least, but I would not even index on cloth this game.
Yeah, that's so just to clarify, that's usually how what I've been doing on Diana. I'll go the Nashers and then build like one defensive component and then build the Riftmaker after the component.
Yeah. The defensive component that you should think about though is just your tier 2 boots.
Right.
Cool. So here, and also instead of that Deadman's, if you had Azanias here, like the game just looks so much better for you. I'm gonna be so for real.
Yeah.
Okay, but right now what's happening is like, and this is a common thing people do on Diana. They think Diana is a frontline champion. You're not a frontline champion on Diana. You are a secondary engage on either side. So what does secondary engage mean? What I mean by secondary engage is, okay, so in fights, either so option A is they start the fight on your teammates. Or option B, your teammates start the fight on them. This is what it means to be a secondary engage. Okay, these are the only 2 options for you as Diana. If you are doing a primary engage, what we are doing is we are quickly poking enemies into running away. Very rarely full commits to enemies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what's happening right now is you are in the front, and you are they are engaging onto you. This is very bad. Them investing their spells onto you is never what you want. on champions that you want this to happen. Champions like Rammus, champions like Sejuani, champions like Trundle, champions like Ornn. You get the idea. You're playing a tank jungler that wants to eat the spells. You're not a tank jungler. You are a mage assassin. You're like a mage assassin. Okay, mage assassin bruiser. It's like literally all three of those in one. So you tanking the spells and losing your HP and conditions is very bad. Very, very, very bad. So what I would rather you do is chuck your Q out, walk away, chuck Q, walk away, and stand closer towards your Caitlyn, Zilean, and Hui. Okay, the next question I want to ask you is how does your team comp want to play? You have Hui, Caitlyn, Zilean here next to you. How does your team comp want to play?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we can play like.
Okay, let's go one by one then. How does Hui want to play fights?
Hui wants to hold space and be like far back.
Okay, and then what is he doing by staying far back? Like how does he provide value into the fight? Holding space and
he holds space and his spells are kind of big and his CC is really good. He has a big slow on his QE.
So let's categorize him. He is a poke champion. All right. Yeah. Let's think about Caitlyn now. What does Caitlyn like doing?
She also likes to poke. Zilean also likes to poke.
Cool. We have sort of a poke archetype front to back. We need to stay away from the enemies. We want to stay in our control. Now look at how you're playing.
Yeah.
You're walking into their control. Your Caitlyn, Hui, and Zilean are uncomfortable. So if we're looking at high-level ways of making our gameplay better, what we need to think about is we need to go back to this. What will the game look like at 10, 20, 30, and 40 minutes? So we need to ask ourselves, with our composition, how do our teammates want to play the fights? Go down the list on each champion. Find the champ that is strongest and adjust your gameplay to theirs. Not just jungle. Any role needs to do this. Every role needs to do this. Let's say it's Hui. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm going to remove this here. Let's say Hui. Let's say you are Hui. Okay, let's say you are Hui, for example. And Diana is really fed, which you are God. And let's say you're trying to get better League of Legends as the Hui. What you would do as Hui is think, how does Diana want to fight? Then let me ask you, how does Diana want to fight? Because you are actually the Diana.
I mean, Diana wants to poke with her Q and then look to punish their backline if they overextend.
Okay. So if we were to categorize Diana as Diana a poke champion, an engage champion, going slow, going fast, describe Diana as best you can in terms of fighting.
Well, Diana wants to play slow. I from my impression, as someone who has not played a ton of Diana, I think Diana wants to play very slow and wait for their backline to mess up.
Cool.
To where you can punish that.
Great. So if I'm Hui and I input this idea that Diana wants to play slow, Diana wants to play patiently, Diana wants to wait for enemies to fuck up, what I'm going to be doing as the Hui is I'm going to be saving my crucial spells for when Diana wants to go in. So vice versa, as the Diana, I need to think about what Hui wants and how Hui wants to play the fight, because Hui is the strongest person on her team right now, given level 15, and I'm guessing he has decent items. So you have to adjust your gameplay to him. But what I'm trying to explain to you here is it's a universal rule for you as the player who's trying to play good League of Legends, and you as the player who's trying to improve at the game, to adjust to your teammates and to adjust to whoever is strong. It doesn't matter what role you're playing, it doesn't matter what champion you're playing, it's good principles and good habits to build as a League of Legends player that's going to help you win more games. The way I like to put League of Legends is you're playing a 1v1v1v1 all the way up to 10 people, right? It's everyone's just playing their own game. They're in their own world. It's everyone for themselves, a free-for-all. What I like to call League is it's a free-for-all. Okay? And the way we remove free-for-all from being a thing, because it's in reality, it's a 5v5, but for some reason I call it a free-for-all because we're playing solo queue, and communication is difficult. So the way you turn this free-for-all game mode that's in a 5v5 state into something more playable for yourself is you turn it into a 2v8. And all you are doing now is you are working with one of your strongest teammates and you're fighting the world. It's you and him, whatever freaking anime or show you want to think about, where you're literally just fighting the world with that guy. That's what you're doing. He's your best friend for the rest of the game, and you need to go to hell and back with this person. That's what it's like to turn League of Legends team fights into something more playable, because the reality is this guy has his own way of playing the game. Own way. Everyone is viewing the game their own way. That's why there's 10 different perspectives of the game. There's 10 different viewpoints. Like this Zillion, Caitlyn, Hui might be thinking Ornn needs to be here. You might be thinking Ornn needs to be here, but Ornn is thinking I want to be where I want to be. And then you're thinking that, oh, Zillion should walk up with me. And then like it's like everyone just has their own thoughts.
Yeah.
We need to just find a teammate that we like, that's good, that's strong, and unite our thoughts with theirs. They will not give you any of their brain space, they will not budge on helping cater their gameplay to yours. You have to cater your gameplay to theirs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. So find your best friend. Once you have the best friend, you go through hell and back with them, cater your gameplay around theirs. You will win way more fights that way. And you won't find yourself doing shit like this. Last thing here is if you want to, Zillion fucks his ulti up, so he doesn't save you. But yeah, I mean, you just should not be in this position in the first place if you play,
right,
a little bit smoother. Sure. Okay, so you're in the wrong position of the map here. So once okay, so the scoreboard is 22 to 13. The easiest way to end games in League of Legends is, so let me ask you, what do you think is the easiest way to end a League of Legends game?
Baron and Soul win cons.
Correct. And if Baron and Soul are gone, then it's turrets. And that means we want to play these outer turrets. Or these inner turrets, I should say. But Baron is up. Okay, so let's say right now, we don't want to pull Baron because we have identified already. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and let's say we did this. Caitlyn, so no mana, Hui is no mana, they need to recall.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It was those two, and also the 4v4, our Ornn is dead versus their Action, and I value the Ornn
way more. Cool. So I mean, what we should do to fact check things is see their conditions, which is what you do. Cool. They're not strong. You technically could pull. I'm happy with you not pulling, as long as you understand that the moment Caitlyn, Hui, and Zillion get back on the map with Ornn being alive, you are on the Baron on spawn. So let's see what you do here. But does that make sense as to what I'm looking for? Big picture, scope out, look at the board here. The board is, hey, this Baron is actually checkmate for them. If they walk into the Baron, you'll checkmate them and win the game. But you need to be pressuring that Baron in order to checkmate them.
Right.
Let's see what you do here. All this, Ornn is back up, Caitlyn's refreshed, Hui is refreshed, we're farming. And then also the urgency around the map of, not the urgency, the communication around the map of what are we playing for is non-existent. If Zillion has the idea in his head, like somehow Ornn is pinging this and you're not. And then so if you're Zillion, you would recall earlier if he knew to play for the Baron a bit faster. But from here, eventually we get there. It's still good. You're just 30 seconds late. Those 30 seconds can change the game. Those 30 seconds can give their Kog'Maw an extra wave, which is an extra item. Those 30 seconds can give anyone extra time to scale in the game. You don't want. You want to be clean. You want to be fast. Speed. Cool, and then let's look at this. So we're recalling here. Hui is on the map. Ornn and Zillion are on the map. Caitlyn's on the map. This is... It's only 3 minutes left of the game, 2 minutes left of the game. But this is probably the biggest thing for mid-game that people do not understand, and I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain this to you. But this is what we call matching tempo. Okay, so matching tempo on the map. So before we address smashing tempo, what I want to ask you, what is the reason we play for it? So why do we recall? Why do we play for items? Go very, very, very like fundamental level. What do items do for you? Why do we play for items?
They make you stronger.
Correct. So they make us stronger. Items are important because we need strength. Let's say we're stronger than them. Without the items, do we need to play for more items?
Not necessarily, no.
Right. So, for example, we currently have 3 items. Enemies have 2 items. We want to recall for 3.5 items, but why? This is the predicament we're in right now. You want to go from 3 to 3.5, but you still have 3 over there too. You are still significantly stronger than them. Now, let's say you need that 3.5 to win the next big fight because the game is closer and your teammates are weaker. But that's not the case. I'm pretty sure everyone on your team has 3 or more. I have 3, Orn has 3, Hui has 3. We all are super duper fed. I don't have a tab screen now, but I'm given how how
everyone
the game's
has
going,
exactly 3 items.
everyone is super duper fed. Let's see if we can pull up a tab screen to make this even more visually easy to understand. Come on, Tony. Where's the tab screen? Give it to me. Tony.
I don't remember. It was too long ago. I'm sure I hit it at some point, maybe coming out of base, but I don't remember.
I mean, that's what we'd hope, right? But let's see. Recalling. There we go. Small tab screen. That's not a tab screen, by the way. I don't count this, but it's good for me because we can pause. There we go. So let's go back to this. Let's look. 2.5. Pretty much 3. This guy has 3. You have 3. So if we were to compare right now, everyone on your team is decently stronger than the enemies. If not by items, then you also need to add levels. And let me explain a core value of levels. Every level is worth around 700 gold. So if you total how many levels were higher than enemies, mid is 3, AD is 1, bot lane is 2, 3, 1, 2, 6, jungle is 3, 9, top lane is 1, 10. 10 levels, you're around 7k gold up on terms of level value. Because you get the skill points, level 16 point, and then the base stats. So you're around 7k gold, hidden gold stats, higher than the enemies. You have the Baron, the dragon stats, and then the true item stats, and the Baron stats. So the 3 items is like, okay, we have more than that. So what I want you to look at here, what I want you to see here is it necessary for us to recall, or can we progress the game in this immediate moment?
Yeah, but we can progress it right now.
Awesome. And the big thing that indicates whether or not we should progress this game is what our teammates are doing. What is White doing right now?
He's pushing bot lane.
What does White want to play for? Why is he pushing?
Play for the turret.
Cool.
I mean, at least I think so.
Yeah. That's what I would do. That's a good assumption. Yeah. I mean, otherwise he'll recall, and then if he recalls, you can just match his recall later. But based on his posture, based on what he's doing, he wants to play for the turret. What does Orn and Zilean clearly want to do here?
They're pinging to go top lane because they want that turret.
And then what is Caitlyn looking to do here?
She's posturing towards mid lane.
Great. You're reading posture now. You're reading into what your teammates are doing. If they're all playing the map here and you're in base, that's a 45 for the enemies. That's the best time for them to win the game. Everyone is split across. This way, right now, if let's say you go top lane with their Orn and Zilean because you're in the top side, let's say they send 2 people, 3 people to kill Hui, then you break their top inhib. Let's say they send everyone to come fight, then kill your Orn and Zilean. Then your Hui gets isolated 1v1 bot lane and probably kills the guy and breaks spots turret, and no one dies top lane because you're there to stop them. Right. Let's say everyone recalls here together, and then you stay on the map. That's just as bad. But right now, what's happening is there's a desync in what's happening around the map. They want to play, you should play. If they want to recall, you should recall. So let's look what happens. They want to play, and look at your Orn and Zilean, they're fucking dying. And well, they didn't die because they won a 2v fucking. They're winning a 2v3 right now, and then I mean, yeah, they're just winning a 3v4 up there. So it's like, yeah, we're up so much gold. So macro wise, we don't get punished, but you understand why, like, macro fundamentals, this is really bad for our game. Make sense?
Yeah. I think I've recognized that because I was pinging the Hui danger, saying that I wanted it back, but I didn't do it for top lane.
Cool. So
I didn't communicate properly.
The thing is, your communication here is not going to stop them, and it's not going to make them recall. I'm not recalling, bro. Why would I recall? If I'm Hui, what would I even recall for? I probably need some gold for my item. Does that make sense?
That's like, why. I mean, that makes sense, but he pushes the wave and recalls for his death cap.
Oh, so like then if Ornn and Zilean are playing up, oh, you're saying you didn't communicate to Ornn and Zilean to recall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I communicated with one half of the map, but not the other.
Not the other half.
I don't think they knew, and that's my fault.
Obviously.
Cool.
So let's try to keep problem solving this, because there's a better answer to everything here if Hui wants to recall. Let's see if you can spot this. I'm gonna give you the next 30 seconds. Ornn and I'll give you all the context. Ornn, Zilean, you, and Caitlyn want to siege. Hui wants to recall to buy Rabadons. How can we allow Hui to recall, play for Rabadons, and still play for the top tier 2 turret? Take some time to think.
I mean, we can just play further back and let the Baron minions siege the turret for us while we're in a safer position and have wards in their jungle.
Okay, that's a problem to solve. Your Zilean has wards. You can do that. You're gonna light them up in the top side. You have waves pushed. There's another big thing I'm looking for. When you see it, you're gonna be like, oh shit. Oh shit.
If all 4 of us are top lane.
Give you another, yeah, and then Hui recalls. He can still make it top lane.
I mean, he can TP.
Problem solved. You got it.
Which is what he does.
Right, but you're in base if he TPs.
Right. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
He doesn't even TP because you're literally in base and Caitlyn doesn't want to walk up. Imagine your top side right now. You solved it perfectly. Oh my god, I just read chat. Hui would recall, immediately TP to the top wave, this wave right here. You'd all be up there. You'd get control with the Zilean. You'd have the entire top side lit up, and you'd break that top inhib. In fact, you could probably end the game because Hui has Rabadons now with the Baron, with the minions, the minions all around, through mid and top. You could probably end the game here.
Yeah.
But that's what League is about. It's problem solving to make everyone happy, and then we did it. And then the only person who's not happy is you because you don't get to spend your 1.7k gold. But I don't really care. That's not going to change the game. Whether or not I have Zhonya's, not going to change shit. What's going to change the game is if my teammates get caught without me. Now that's a problem. So does that problem solve make sense? Is that cool?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
To add to the matter, you guys together as 4 in the top side are so strong. You guys can probably progress the game yourselves. You shouldn't underestimate levels. You shouldn't underestimate how strong you are, and you should not underestimate chunking enemies into sieging. Again, we farm. Hold on, let me go to this. We want to pay for items to make us stronger. Once we are strong, oh shit. I should move all that. Whatever. Once we are strong, what we're looking to do is we're looking to fight. You want to play the game. You want to do something. So strength, you use your strength to fight things. Not recall for more strength.
Right.
Okay. The game's over. Awesome. Very solid game overall. Very good stuff. I will say you're one of the most one of the worst things we saw this game was a lot of these things are just like it's polishing, I'd say. If you polish, you will find yourself climbing an LP. So we have so the big things to focus on. So I'm gonna give you one big thing to focus on for yourself. That will probably be the biggest, like that'll probably help you focus on. That'll help you climb the most. Is understanding what. So put yourself in your teammates' shoes. In your fed teammates' shoes. And play the game around them. Apply this to team fighting, macro play, early/mid. Okay. This is the most important thing for you to work on. You need to think about, okay, Quay is fed. How does Quay want to fight? I know how he wants to fight. Okay, I'm going to play my fight around him. Everything else is polishing. You can walk through, you can rewatch this and watch the things we talked about. I wouldn't stress those things at all, but like things like, hey, you shouldn't use your ultimate when the target's dead. Or like, hey, like your tempo line is a little bit off. Hey, like you're skipping camps out on spawn, or you know, there's like these minor things, or you're not holding tab enough. I don't want you to worry about those things. As I've grown as a coach, I realize all that is relevant. It's not going to give you the biggest jump in skill or LP or just becoming a better player. It's one or two things, and this is the number one thing I think you absolutely need to do for yourself, is putting yourself in your fed teammates' shoes and playing the game around them. Team fighting, macro, early mid, team fighting, specifically team fighting and macro, and then the early mid late game as well. It's understanding what a Caitlyn, what a Hui wants in the early game. Do they actually need your attention? Do they want your attention? And if they do, is it too much? Is it worth it? What's the point? Okay, so do you have any questions on what I need you to work on here?
No, that makes perfect sense.
All right. Do you have any questions overall on anything? Anything that comes to your mind that you want to ask?
So the build thing, I understand. You said like when in higher elos, it's more valuable to index into defensive itemization sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But is it? I guess I'm just not fully understanding the like why it's bad now. Like if
Okay.
it's good, if it's
Yeah.
impossible to really predict everything that your team is going to be doing in a given game, how can I obviously don't want to, if my team starts fighting things and it's not terrible, is like it's not losing for me to come to that fight, then I'll end up fighting. So is it still bad to index into like one defensive component before my second item?
Okay. Let me explain something first here. So we have iron to around gold.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have plats to around diamond. Then we have diamond plus. We'll just say this is masters plus actually. So when you're talking about iron to gold games, these games not only last longer, they're more chaotic. They're more chaotic, no structure.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at platinum to diamond games, they are still long, still chaotic, still less structure, but people are like kind of clueless still. Sheep mentality, they herd together, herds. And then still the same thing from above. Same stuff from above. In Masters Plus, things start to get more structured. People are more aware. People are able to punish. You didn't get punished at all that game. You sat on 3k gold. You fought multiple fights with 2k gold. You will get punished the higher elos you go. So the reason why this matters is because right now you're smack in the middle, you're emerald. Okay, and in Emerald Elo, you will have chaos. You will have a lot of stupid plays. And in any Elo, you have stupid plays. But especially in Emerald, you have chaos and stupid plays. When there is chaos and when there are stupid plays, you want the AP for clear speed so you can trade. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's ultimately what I'm looking for here, is you need speed. If you buy tanky items, you do not have speed. Tanky items equals, normally this is strength in fights. Equals 5v5 winning. There are going to be many many situations in lower elo, especially where the 5v5 just won't be winning, and it's because something gets caught, something stupid happens, and you want to have the capability to trade. This is why whenever I play Diana, I emphasize AP build anyway, because even when I'm in a higher elo, people are so stupid. People are the stupidest motherfuckers ever. It doesn't matter what elo I'm in, but especially in lower elo, I like having AP because it gives me more options. And then to compromise, because I don't want to go Nashers into Rabadons, into Zhonya's, into 0 HP. To compromise, what I'll do is I'll go Proto Belts into Riftmaker, into Bloodletters. And that gives me a shit ton of HP, so I'm still relatively tanky, and I have plenty of damage and plenty of capability to trade around the map. And the other compromise is you go Nashers into Riftmaker, into Zhonya's. But what I don't like is just seeing so much tankiness to the point where we are hurting our clear speed and our ability to trade around the map. Because a Diana with Sork Boots, Nashers, and 1,000 gold of AP versus a Diana with Nashers, plated steel caps, and a cloth armor, the difference on them doing the dragon is so significant that it's like 15 seconds or more. And that can drastically change your capability of trading on the map, those 15 seconds. To add to the matter, it's all the time spent before clearing regular camps wasted because you have tanky items instead of AP items.
Okay.
Make sense?
So yeah, that does make sense. So I understand every game is completely contextual. But in this game specifically, you mentioned if I wanted armor, just build Zhonya's second. Would
Yeah.
you just build the arm guard, or would you build a full Zhonya's before the Riftmaker? Or is that just not even appropriate in this scenario?
Oh, I wouldn't even go Zhonya's second item. I would just go Riftmaker.
Okay.
But I would go the arm guard first. Yes.
Oh. Okay.
If you really want Zhonya's, I'd go the arm guard first. Yes. But in this game, I'm not going Zhonya's second. I'm going it third.
Okay. Gotcha. So how do you feel about Proto Belt versus Nashers?
Okay, so the way to differentiate whether or not you go Proto Belt or Nashers, the way I do it is I look at their comp and I ask myself, if I'm going in, do I need to stay alive or can I one-shot them? And against these three champions, if you go in and one-shot them, you're actually completely fine. So this game, I'm actually going to go Nashers, Rabadons, Zhonya's. You have an Ornn, you have a Zillion, and you have these guys. It's completely fine to do that. I can go Nashers, Rabs into Zhonya's, kablooey. They're all fucked. Even the Zehen can get one-shot by me, and the Rammus is not going to be that tanky. Because, I mean, Rammus is not inherently too tanky. And then so that's one way to look at it. That's a fine way to play. If you're not used to that, what I would do then is I would probably just go for the so there's that way of looking at it, like one shot them, and then Zhonya's to survive. You have follow up from your teammates. The other thing you could do is you can go the Hex Deck Proto Belt into Riftmaker Bloodletters. The reason why I'm doing that is if I need to gap close or I need to survive longer in fights, and that is when I'm normally against Bruiser champions. And the Rocket Belt, the Riftmaker, and the Bloodletters all give me haste, and the haste is nice, so I can land more Qs in fights, and I can just QEW combo walk away. QEW combo walk away. So if I'm playing in prolonged fights where there's more tanky champions, I can go for even a Landry's first item, but Rocket Build's completely chill. And then the last thing is like if I'm going this Nashor's build, I normally just go Nashor's when I'm hard focusing on playing for myself and I'm playing to just get the most amount of gold for myself possible, because Nashor's is objectively the fastest clearing item on Diana. So it's like this game specifically, if I'm just going to power farm 10 CS per minute, I'm going Nashor's.
Okay, that
Any
makes sense.
follow-up questions on that?
I don't think so. Obviously itemization is something I need to work on. It's just it's really hard for me to problem solve that prior to the like early game unfolding.
Okay, so what I'll say is I built the same items when I first did Challenger on Kane every single game. I built the same items. It's not gonna make or break your gameplay. Worry about everything else. Items are the least of your concern. Now, when it comes to getting better items,
it's just about playing around the items you build, right?
Yeah, you need to know what items you're buying. You know how to use them correctly. That's it. You can go any of the 3 build variations as long as you play correctly around the build. You'll be fine. And then the last thing there is I plan to make more videos about itemization soon, so look forward to that.
Okay, cool. I think that would actually be a really cool quiz idea. It
Yeah.
would be pretty narrow because
Yeah.
not everybody plays every champion, but
Yeah.
I think it would be easy for you to
Oh, yeah.
spit those out consistently.
For sure. All right, Tony. I'm gonna send you these notes real quick, and that's gonna be it, bro. Of
Perfect. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
course. Take care, man. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that Platinum DianaGuide coaching VODReview style. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.